Hi, welcome back to my channel, and if you're new here, my name is Lauren. I'm a lover of all things books, home, and beauty. Today, I'm going to be talking about Miss Onyx Storm. If you watched my last video, it was a reading vlog, and I took you guys along with me on the emotional distress that is this here book. Miss Rebecca did not come to play, so today, I'm going to kind of gather all of my thoughts. I have everything written down for you guys, and there are lots of spoilers in this video, so if you have not read Onyx Storm, read it, enjoy it, and come back and watch this video when you want to hear my crazy theories, my crazy thoughts, my questions, and everything I thought about Onyx Storm. Starting off strong, I'm gonna go with my rating. Baby, get ready, drum roll please. 5 out of 5. 5 out of 5, a million out of 5. The limit does not exist with how much I loved this book. I literally had the best time reading it. And let me say this. This book was my favorite out of the three. Miss Rebecca did not come to play with us. I enjoyed this book so much. Obviously, if you saw my vlog, you saw that I started reading it on release night. Yes, I was so excited, and I literally said multiple times in my vlog, I just rewatched it so I could remember. It was kind of cool to see my thoughts and my brain. Now that I know what I know, I'm like, you poor innocent girl, you don't know what's coming, you don't know what's gonna hit ya. But I said multiple times, I'm taking my time, I'm reading this slow, I'm soaking it up, because as I was reading, I was updating my Goodreads, and I was updating my vlog, and I was updating, you know, all my things, and I was taking notes so that I could remember everything on this book, and I did soak it up, but it was so good when I tell you I chose reading this book over sleep. So yeah, that's why it's getting 5 stars. I feel like a lot of people were like, we have so many questions, we were just thrown in, who are all these people in the beginning? And I'm not gonna lie, in the beginning I was like, whatever that means, like whoever this person is. But then a quick Google, I Googled, you know, who is this person, who's this person? And they were all mentioned in Iron Flame. And I skimmed Iron Flame, I didn't do like a full reread, but whenever I like figured out like, oh, okay, like that's blah, blah, blah from Iron Flame. They were side characters, and I kind of like realized she's not holding our hand in this book. Okay, babe, Rebecca did not come to this book to hold our hand and walk us through it. And I feel like if you read fantasy books in this genre, romantasy especially, I feel like our hands are held. Like we get kind of spoiled with having the information not only be given to us right off the bat, but it kind of gets redundant. And I feel like I really enjoyed the difference in this book from the other two. Not that the other two are redundant, but I just feel like Miss Rebecca, she was like, baby, I held y'all's hands enough. Like I'm throwing you into this one. So I really, really love that about the book. Overall, this book is 5 out of 5 stars for me. She did not hold her hand. She did not come to play. I kind of want to get into my questions, my theories, and things that made me happy, things that made me sad. So I'm going to like categorize these things so that I stay on point, because baby, I could talk about this book for weeks and weeks and weeks and weeks and weeks. We would be here forever, but I kind of want to get my thoughts kind of concise and put them in this video so that we can all kind of talk about it. I did need a period after finishing this book to just woo-saw, but now that I've woo-sawed, I'm finally ready to like throw up my words and kind of talk to you guys about it. Okay, the first section, I'm gonna be talking about all the things I loved in the book, but the first section, I have it written down, are things I loved about the book. So, number 1, you guys guessed it. You guys guessed it, it's Mr. Xaden! Zaddy did not come to play in this book, okay? The Xaden girlies were throwing up, crying, obsessed with this man. Rhysand is always my number 1. If you know me, you know Rhysand is number 1 for me, but baby, Xaden popped up number 2. Xaden's number 2. Xaden's number 2, top 2, and I'm not 2 for me, okay? 100%. Rhysand is just Rhysand, and he got me really back into and obsessed with reading, so I'm sorry, but Rhysand will be number 1 forever in my heart, forever and ever, amen. But Xaden's top 2 and not 2, babe. So number 1, Jealous, Venom, Xaden. And by the way, these are not in order, but I will say this is probably number 1 that like I loved about this book. I didn't think I could be more obsessed with this man. I did it. I did it. I did it. My house, my chair, my woman, and Iron Flame. Yeah, I was eating it up, and so was everybody else. We've been obsessed with this man. Possessive. He's like an asshole to everybody except for Violet. Like, we're obsessed with him. But jealous? Jealous. And the fact that freaking Violet's ex was in this book, like an Iron Flame when we had the cat situation, which that kind of got on my nerves a little bit. I'm like, oh my God, Xaden only wants you, Violet. Like, babe, he only wants you. But to see the tables reverse, and also to see how Violet was like, this is kind of annoying. I'm very annoyed. Like, I don't want anyone but Xaden. Like, this must have been how he felt. But also, I love a jealous man. I love a jealous man. I love a jealous man. I was eating it freaking up. I was so freaking obsessed. So yeah, I just love that. I loved his little snarky comments. I loved him being like Soaring Gale with 2 R's. Like just being so ate up with her and obsessed with her and loving her freaking out loud. So not even just the jealousy aspect, but him kind of like dominating everything, being like, this is my woman, like claiming her in every way possible, calling Violet his consort and bringing up like them getting married all the time. And if you know the end, you know. And I was obsessed with it. Kissing her in the middle of class in the shadows, like Professor Ryerson. I'm not okay. I literally can't even breathe. But anyway, I cannot go on about how much I love Xaden. I mean, I definitely could, and I definitely will. But I do have a lot of things I really want to talk about, and once I got over the fact that I'm depressed and Xaden is not okay yet again, then I was able to kind of think about my theories, and that's why in the last video I said, if I ever get over this emotional distress and I need a moment to think about this book before I conclude, because in the vlog, after reading that book, I was like, babe, my brain's about to freaking explode. Such a good book, so obsessed, but yeah, the ending did depress me. So, and also I had a lot of questions. So anyway, love jealous Venom. Xaden, okay. The next thing I loved about the book, this is like literally up there for me. Violet, baby, she didn't come to play. She was walking everyone like a freaking dog. Violet having that one guy's panthers or whatever those little tiger thingies were walking around and taking negotiations into her own hands because they went to shit basically. And she was like, Andarna, hold the panther in your mouth, babe. And then she was like, Andarna's being nice, but she's about to have her a nice little snack. She's hungry. Like, she just didn't come to play. Or whenever she outsmarted everybody at the one island, God, I can't even remember the name of the freaking islands. The one island where Xaden's mom was, which, sorry, I have a freaking bone to pick with Xaden's mom. I'm disgusted. I literally am so sick to my stomach. I'm sure she had her reasons, but like I can't see them right now. All I think about is how my baby Xaden is hurt. But how she outsmarted them with the poison. Yeah, they're playing checkers. She's playing chess, babe. She is just on her P's and Q's this book, and she's so badass, and she's in her freaking villain era. I'm just so obsessed with her, and I can't take it, and she's not here to mess around. She is demanding what she wants. She's like, listen, I'm looking for a cure. I'm working on this myself, and I'm gonna pick my team. She's vouching for herself. She is like, if my man, oh my God, when she was talking to Xaden's mom and she was like, if he wants to burn down this entire place, I will literally help him light it up. I was like, oh, okay. Like Violet, I'm so obsessed with her character development in this book. Like Rebecca, pat yourself on the back, girl. Like she really, really wrote Violet so confident this book, and she's just coming into herself, and she's not taking anything from anybody. She's like, I'm here to figure out a freaking cure for my man. I'm going to figure this out. I'm confident about it, and if you're not with me, you're against me, and we all need to be together. Like she's truly a woman of the people, which, like the ending, she's the Duchess. Like it's fine. Anyway, whatever. We'll get into that. The next thing I loved about this book, Dane. Yeah, I heard it. Yeah, I heard it. I heard myself say Dane is one of the things I loved about this book. Dane, your redemption arc? Yeah, okay, yeah, I'm obsessed. Also, him and Sloane, I wrote this down so I don't forget to say it. Sloane, whenever they were like channeling and like Dane, she like hates Dane. She like hates everything he stands for. She says, I'm going to hurt you. To Dane, and then Dane said, Gods, don't I know it. Not me giggling and kicking my feet over Dane Atos? Baby, I never thought it would be me, but it is. Not for Violet, but it is. For him and Sloane, yeah, I ship it. I'm literally obsessed. When the enemies are lovering, yeah, I'm eating it up. Yeah, I can't wait to see more of them, and I never thought I would freaking say that. You asked me in Fourth Wing and Iron Flame, I was like, just kill him. Kill him, take him out. But you know what? Every interview I've watched of Rebecca, she's protective over her baby Dane. She's like, listen, he is a 20-something-year-old man, and he makes mistakes, and he's not perfect. And I agree. I also, like in Throne of Glass, how everyone's a K-All girl, or you either hate K-All, and it's like, for me, he got on my nerves. I'm like, do not come for my girl Aelin. That was kind of the same thing. Like, I'm like, how could Dane betray her? But now he's trying to help her, and it's stunning, and it's gorgeous, and we love Dane. We have love for Dane this book. So, yes, that was one of the things I actually loved about this book. Another thing, the banter between Mira and Drake. Again, the enemies are enemy to lovering. Broccoli, the little kitten. Yeah, I'm obsessed. Yes, I'm obsessed. That's what I'm saying. Like, there were so many things about this book that it was so emotionally damaging, and it's so gut-wrenching, and there were so many Easter eggs, and there were so many theories to digest, which we are going to get to. But there were so many things in this book that I was like, no, stop Stop. I'm obsessed. I'm giggling. I'm cracking up. Riddick cracks me up. Everybody cracks me up. Like, were the banter's bantering. Sawyer learning how to ride again. Yeah, that's literally heartbreaking. Yeah, I'm so freaking sad. Like, everything about this book felt so wholesome and so beautiful and so found family and so... But anyway, okay, those are just some of the things I loved about the book. The banter, the smut, like all of it. I loved all of it. I literally loved this book as a whole. I loved the world building. I love how we got to see more places, learn about more cultures, learn about how Violet was like touched by the gods but not finished because they were like, she has a plan that could go wrong in her life. Her life is, it said, and all these things. And it's like, I love the world building. I love the lore. I love that we got more insight on things that we can use to concoct in our brains, because I'm definitely going to do a reread of Fourth Wing and Iron Flame after finishing this book. I'm like, I need to do a reread and I need to annotate these books. As beautiful as this bad boy is, I'm going to have to get another copy that I'm not obsessed with, and I'm going to have to annotate all of these by hand, not on my Kenny, not on my Kindle. I need to annotate them and write in the margins. I have a lot of freaking... I love hunting for information, and I love information, and Rebecca was very clever with this book. She knew how to like drop those little Easter eggs in, and then later on I was like, but this, and then I would flip back and be like, oh my God, I have to just reread all these books. So I will definitely be doing a rereading vlog, and I'll be talking about all of those things. Okay, this next segment is gonna be questions. So these are questions I have, maybe you have them. If you have answers to these questions, put them in the comments. Let's have a conversation, let's talk about it. These are my questions. Why did Violet want Imogen to take away her memories? This is my answer that I think. But again, these are questions. I don't know, I didn't write the book. This is just my questions. I guess so people wouldn't see what happened, or so she wouldn't be in pain, because think about it, they got married, and then, can we talk about that? Can we talk about that? Anyway. So people wouldn't see what happened, or so she would be in pain. Also to protect Xaden, because now the secret is out that Xaden's venom. So maybe like she asked Imogen, because Imogen was like, I did what you asked me. But maybe to protect Xaden, because now it's like anyone that's like a threat, you know, with the enemy, like they're gonna take out, they're gonna burn them. And so like, maybe she's doing it to protect Xaden because she knows that like he's still in there. Like, I don't know, maybe that's why. But anyway, that was the question I had. Another question is, we're missing 4 riders at the end of the book. So we're missing 4 riders, we're missing the dragon eggs. I think obviously 2 of the riders are Xaden and Bodhi. I think one is Auric, because he was helping Xaden and they've been working together, because there were lots of Easter eggs throughout the entire book. They're talking about Kilding Holden, Auric's brother. Xaden is like, someone will be upset with me back home. Like, there were just little hints. And again, this is why it's a question. This is in my question segment. I don't think this is law. I'm just critically thinking. So the Queen, Mirla, or whatever her name was, she asked for dragon eggs in exchange for her army, and she was like, they were like, no, we're not doing that. Like, baby, sorry, we're not giving up the dragon eggs. And she was like, okay, well, maybe when you're more desperate. So I wrote that down. I said, maybe the missing dragon riders are delivering the eggs to the Queen in exchange for help because they're more desperate now, which is what she said would happen. I don't know who the 4th one is. I would say Xaden. That's why I have to do a freaking reread. Xaden, Bodhi, maybe Auric, just because that would make sense, because also like, he can see the future or whatever. So I'm like, maybe he can see things coming, and so he's like using it to help him. I don't know, again, a question. So if you have an answer to that, put that in the comments and let's kind of chat about it. Page 481, after Sloane siphons power from Dane to Brennan, so Brennan can heal Mira, Violet mentions that Brennan or Dane didn't have a mark like Brennan's rune scar. What is the scar for? What? Like, and I've seen lots of theories on TikTok, because I've looked into this, and everyone's like, maybe it's a scar from his old lover who used to be Taryn's old rider, Nilonian, however you say his name. And that's why I'm doing a reread, you guys. So that's a question. What is Brennan's scar for? Because Violet was like, why don't you have a scar? You know what I mean? Because it was supposed to be from Brennan, someone siphoning to help save Brennan. Like, anyway, that's my question. What is Brennan's scar? Next question, why was Violet the only one able to talk to her dragons on some islands? What makes her different? Does it have to do with her signet? We obviously know Violet is powerful. Like, obviously the Venom want her for a reason. I feel like, why was she able to talk to her dragon still? Why was she able to wield lightning on one of the islands? You know what I'm saying? We know she was touched by Dune or whatever, and like half of her hair is silver, whatever. There's something to do, and I am not FBI investigator yet. I have not gone through and reread all this now that we know we have an Onyx storm. Also, I'm a vibe reader, so I'm enjoying, but then I do pick up things and I wanted to write them down so I'd remember. So I don't know, but I just think it's very interesting. Why? I want to know. I want to know. So my next segment is going to be theories. These are going to be theories, baby. These are not going to be law. Again, these are my theories. These are what I think. These are what I have seen other people talk about. These are just things that I'm like, yes, I can see it with my brain. This is how I think. And that's also another thing. I think it's really cool to see how everyone else's brain perceives things differently. And I just think that's why I'm making a video, so we can all talk about it, because I don't want to spoil it for anybody, but we need to have these conversations. My first theory, my most important, is Violet's dad is high up in the Venom ranks, and that is why they want Violet. Obviously, they want powerful wielders so that they can draw on their magic and da-da-da-da-da, all these things. I think it's just really weird and really interesting that Theophany, she keeps being like, no, I don't answer to that one guy, the guy over Xaden, the sage guy, whatever his name was. I can't remember what his name is, but she's like, no, I would never listen to him. And if you come to me, you'll be able to keep your dragon, you'll be able to keep your man, like all these things. Like she keeps trying to coerce Violet into coming to the dark side. You know what I'm saying? And I'm just like, I'm thinking of Star Wars now. I'm thinking of Luke, I am your father type of vibes. But you know what I'm saying? Like, again, I'm not good at articulating why I think this, because I need to go back and I need to do the homework and highlight and pull out my book and be like, on page da-da-da. I just think that. I just think, especially Lilith's correspondence, that's what it was in my blog. Lilith was talking about all these things to Violet's dad, like her unsent correspondence to Violet's dad. And I'm like, we don't know when it was dated because it didn't say. But to me, I can see it. I can really see it. And I really think like maybe he wants Violet and maybe he's alive and maybe he joined the Venom to try to find a core. I don't know. I really think her dad is Venom, and I also think that would just be really freaking cool. So yeah. This is another theory. Maybe Violet can work on her signet because we found out that she is a dream walker. So super interesting. We also found that the sage, the guy in Xaden's dream, is like obviously a dream walker too, and he's really powerful in there, and was like, Violet's like a new baby dream walker because she was doing it on accident in Xaden's dreams. So I'm like, okay, maybe she can hone her signet just like she learns how to wield her lightning and all her things, because obviously she's very powerful. She's still a student, and I'm just like, we can use that to our advantage. So this is what I'm thinking. Maybe she can work on her signet and then dream walk into the Venom's heads to get information. This is another theory I have that goes along with her dad being a Venom. Theophany is her sister, maybe because how she was talking. Because when she's talking to her, she's like, this isn't a good start to our relationship. And she, like, Violet mentions in the book, she's like, there's something about her. No, I don't think she uses the word familiar, but I think I mentioned it in my blog as I was reading. Like, to me, I just think that would be really cool. So that's my theory. Again, not saying it's law, because I still haven't gone back and annotated this book. I have not done a reread. Like I said, was just vibing, and then I was like, interesting, and I was writing all this down and updating my Goodreads, and when I went back and looked at my Goodreads, I said that multiple times. So I'm like, I really, really think she could be her sister. That would just be really cool to me. Again, we never know. Dane has a second signet. I think that because whenever Sloane was like, you shouldn't be this powerful, I've seen a lot of theories on TikTok and people are like, what if Dane's Venom? What if da-da-da-da? I don't think Dane's Venom. I don't think he's Venom. I think that he has a second signet, and I think that Sloane was able to feel that because she can draw on their powers or whatever, and I think that she was like, interesting, and I think she was just mentioning that. So I really think that Dane has a second signet. Maybe he has a second signet, or maybe he's so powerful with the signet he already has that he can use it in a different way. I don't know. That's my theory. That's one of my theories. Bodhi. Oh, yeah. Okay. Bodhi is Xaden's new Venom brother because he was sitting back the whole book and mad at Xaden for it. Bodhi is Xaden's cousin, and the whole book, Bodhi's pressed because Xaden's like, babe, you gotta stay put because if I get killed, you're the one that's gonna take over Tyrrendor. Like, just enough. And Bodhi's like, bro, I don't want to be the Duke of Tyrrendor. I want to be your right-hand man. I want you to be the Duke of Tyrrendor. And so, to me, it just makes sense like that it would be Bodhi because he's gonna follow Xaden. You know what I mean? He's gonna ride or die for his family. Also, I wrote down, and he's mentioned that Violet is gonna help him protect Tyrrendor through the entire book. Also at the end, so that way, like, Violet takes care of Tyrrendor, Bodhi's with Xaden. They're gonna help, infiltrate the Venom, as much as they can because they have control over them. I put also at the end of Xaden's POV, this was at the end of the book when I was freaking spiraling, but I still was like, I don't know. It says, he looks at his new brother and an unconscious dragon surrounded by wyvern. Says that in the end of the book, in Xaden's POV. Bodhi's dragon was injured earlier in the book during the fight. And, like, when your dragon gets injured, you clearly feel it, and Bodhi was also throwing up or retching or something. I don't know. It said something in the book where, like, he wasn't doing good. His dragon was injured. And then at the end, when Xaden looks at his new brother and sees the unconscious dragon, it would make sense for me if your dragon's hurt, it directly affects you, you can sense it. What if Bodhi drew on the earth and was like, yeah, I need help, and also I see Xaden, and like, I'm gonna go in with you, brother, because I'm not being the Duke of Tyrandor, because like, obviously he's stubborn, just like Xaden. So I'm like, maybe that happened, I don't know. But it just makes sense, an unconscious dragon. We know the dragon's not Tarn. So I'm like, okay, the other dragon that was harmed in the fight, Bodhi's dragon. Okay, next theory I have, Xaden and Violet will have to communicate in book 4 via dream walking. I made a freaking TikTok about this where it was like Talking to the Moon by Bruno Mars. I was like, I have a theory, guys. This just came from nothing from the book, because someone was like, this is a spoiler. And I was like, no, it's not a spoiler. It's just my stupid little brain. I think that this will be Xaden's POV. That's all I said. And it was like Talking to the Moon. I know you're somewhere out there, somewhere far away. I want you, babe. And it just like, I heard that song on my TikTok, just a random song. And then I literally looked at my husband. I go, that's going to be Xaden's song. And obviously, because like Talking to the Moon, talking in their dreams. And it's like, it's gut wrenching. It's gut wrenching to think about it. But think about it. Like, they figured it out right before he turned more venom. And I'm just like, I just know they're going to communicate, and I know Violet's going to hone her signet and she's going to be able to communicate with him. And like I said, I think she's going to use her signet to get behind the enemy lines and in their brains. And if that one guy, the Xaden's sage, is a dream walker too, because he was obviously in the dream with them, then maybe she can like get really good at it and be good at guarding her mind and also get messages to Xaden and stuff. Because now, how are they going to communicate without people like intercepting their correspondence? I don't know. That's just what I'm thinking. Xaden and Violet can be far away from each other because Tarn and Sigale broke the mating bond. Okay, they were acting weird the whole book. Tarn and Sigale, they were beefing. And I think it's because they were already kind of communicating. I think that because in Iron Flame, Xaden chose Violet, which so depressing because Sigale was literally so depressed and she was so freaking sad. And then at the end of this book, it's kind of like Xaden chose Sigale and protected Violet too, because obviously Violet's his number one. And so it's like, I feel like Sigale's been shutting Xaden out and she's been hurt, but I feel like when they have communicated, he's told her like, you know, y'all have to make them break the mating bond and choose me over Tarn. That's just one of my theories. Again, like I said, this is a theory, so whatever. At the end, Xaden asks Sigale to ask Tarn. He doesn't say what he wants to ask her, but he's just like, ask Tarn. And then she says, it all depends on her. Either Xaden or Sigale says that. That's what I wrote down. Talking about Andarna is what I'm kind of thinking, because Andarna, the Feathertail, or the Irids, they were like, you have magic, you can bend it to your will, talking about how powerful Andarna is. They said, earlier in the book, she can bend and shape magic to her will, like her ancestor dragons told her. Then Tarn all of a sudden needs to rest because the mating bond was broken. Because Violet's like, is Tarn need to rest? And Andarna's like, yeah, he needs to rest. I just think that Andarna either broke the mating bond, Tarn broke it. I think that's what Xaden and Sigale were talking about at the end of the book. That's what I think. Again, don't know, have no idea. These are just kind of theories I have, and I'll probably build on these theories or be like, now that one's not right once I do a reread and once I annotate all these things. Next segment, things that broke my heart. Quinn's death. You guys, when I tell you that ripped me to shreds, that was so freaking sad. There were obviously so many sad things in the book, but that literally made me sick. Andarna leaving made me sick. It made me think about how much Violet loved her and feeling like everything was ripped from her because that's how important her bond is with her dragon. It broke my heart. And yes, she ended up coming back. And even at the end, she's like, I won't let them burn you. And like, she's there, but like, all of it happening at once. Like, we lose Quinn. And it's like, I'm so sad. Like, it was so freaking sad. It was so freaking sad. Also, the end, Xaden remembering Violet at the end of Onyx Storm before he turns more venom. That literally made me want to throw up. I love you. Violet's voice cracks the cold. And a silken thread of warmth wedges itself in the opening before it seals shut, locking it in place. No, wait, I grab for that thread with desperate hands, clawing to keep her as more of my pieces are blown away, lost to the void. She is warmth and light and air and love. My shadows consume the valley she stands in. this is just what I like highlighted. I shove the maven to the ground, then slide over Violet with a gentleness that takes all my concentration. I love her. That is the emotion I cling to, the fire of pure power burning at the feeling's edges, and I know if I take it any further, it will be my next and final piece to float away. I bare my teeth and yank my hand from the ground, gasping for a full breath as my heart thunders. I'm just not okay. Also, something that literally ripped me to shreds. Don't look for me, it's yours now. And everyone's like, why did he marry her? Why did he marry her? Babe, to protect Tyrandor, number one, but also to protect Violet, giving her his title. Again, that's my theory, you know? But don't look for me, it's yours now. Like, no. I just, like, I can't. Oh my God. Then she's like, how long have I been missing? 12 hours. And like, I remember, I was like, is this a typo? Are we missing pages? The way Miss Rebecca ended this book, baby, I genuinely was like, yep, gotta reread immediately. But like I said, I know myself, I'm gonna take a little breather and we're gonna reread it and we're gonna annotate it and we're gonna dive really into these theories. And obviously the rumor is we have 2 years, so we'll have plenty of time. But yes, I am truly obsessed with this. There were so many things about this book, like I said. It was so much information. It left us all sobbing uncontrollably. Like I said, I had such a good time. Jealous, Ven and Xaden, hot. Him being so obsessed with her, hot. Like Dane's redemption arc, hot. Violet being the amazing, fearless leader that she is, hot. I'm so obsessed with it. I'm so obsessed with all of the things happening. I was at some point like, I'm sick of these islands. I don't care. Like, we still have that island that the freaking Irids wouldn't let us in. Rude. That's getting on my nerves. So obviously we know that like in the next book, that's going to be happening. But yeah, a lot of people have theories. These aren't one of my theories, but these are just theories that I've seen that I kind of want to talk about, that the ring that Violet has, because like back in the book, there was like a dagger and it was missing like one of the jewels, and so Xaden placed that jewel in the ring that was on Violet's finger, and everyone's like, yeah, I think that Xaden's soul is in there. I don't know about that one. I feel like it's a little Horcruxy Harry Potter to me. I don't really think that. I think that no matter what, that he doesn't need to place his soul within a ring. This is my theory. I think that Violet is always going to be what draws Xaden back. I don't think he needs to place his soul in something. I think that she is his soul. She's everything. Even whenever they were messing around on the headboard and, you know, he drew magic from the wood and like you could see that, he always has control with her. She is the one thing that, yes, she's a trigger for him in the book. They're like, you know, when he gets jealous, he gets very protective. He's like, I think he says in one of the parts, he's like, I would burn everything to the ground for you. And she's like, no, you wouldn't hurt anybody. And he's like, bro, yes, I would. This is one of the quotes that I just freaking love. We live by the codex. I live by you. When have I ever given up about the codex or the code of conduct? I am yours and you are mine, and there's no law or rule in this world or the next that will change that. Like, I mean, he just tells her over and over. Just like he says in the book over and over, he mentions them getting married. He refers to her as his consort. Like, Violet is his everything. Violet is, and the maidism, come on, babe. Come on, babes. This isn't our first fantasy book, okay? This isn't our first fantasy book. So I'm like, they haven't really talked about mates. Like, even Taryn in the book, he's like, your mate, you have a bad taste in mates and blah, 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 blah. And Violet even says, humans don't mate. And then Taryn's like, ugh, y'all are like below us. You know, you don't mate. But like, the maidism I can see from a mile away. So I feel like we're going to learn more of that. And I also feel like, just like every book ever, whenever there's maidism, that you can you can sense it, you can see it, you can feel it, they're made for each other. And for me, I know we're going to get a happy ending. I'm hoping, you know, I don't know. Anything could happen. Rebecca could rip us to shreds. And that playlist, babe. Also, after listening to the playlist, I studied it for 4 hours and then reading this book. Oh, and then I listened listened to it again and I was like, oh, Rebecca, you sick and twisted sadist. Like, what are we doing? She told us what she was gonna do, guys. Did you guys listen to the playlist? She told us. Like, this wasn't new info. I mean, it was because we were reading it, but like, she told us. She told us she did not come to play. But anyway, yeah. I just, overall, about theories, we're still talking about theories. I need to keep my mind focused because like I said, I could talk about this forever. I don't think that Xaden put his soul into the ring. I don't think he put his soul into an object. I know that like the runes are a thing and whatever, and like maybe I'm off. Maybe I didn't pay enough attention to the runes. I don't know. But for me, I just think that Violet is everything to Xaden. He held on to her in every situation where it was telling him to draw power from. And I just really think that that's the beauty of it. That's why it's a romantasy, because if anything can save him, she can, just from being her. And I really think that's the direction Rebecca's going in. But also, I think it's also beautiful to like continue to conversate and hear all these other theories, and maybe that's not true. Maybe the ring is, but I don't really see that happening. Xaden's never, it's always Violet. You know what I mean? In spite of their history, when they even met, it's always been Violet. They have this chemical, the way they talk, the way they're bonded too. I know like through their dragons they can talk, but just like when Xaden was talking, oh my God, there was one where she was talking about missing the bond. Okay, so like right here, she's talking about they're on the island and they don't have the bonds. Violet can talk to her dragons, which like I said, interesting, but her and Xaden have a bond. She says, I miss the bond. He says, me too, but you don't have to say what you're thinking for me to know. I can read it in every line of your body. Your eyes are a dead giveaway too. Always have been. You have no idea how many times I almost up on the sparring mat when I caught you watching me. Oh. Oh! Like they are so connected, and it's like when you're in love, not to be a mushy gushy freak, but like when you love someone so much and you're that close to them. Also, obviously this is a fantasy book and there's magic and there's other things at play, but just like it's like a sixth sense. Like you can feel and you know what that person's thinking and feeling. And obviously in this sense, they were missing the bond when they're on the islands because they can't talk in their minds. But he's like, I know you. I have this connection to you. And I think Violet at the end of the day, obviously she's using the Irids to look for the cure, and they're rude and they're gonna have all our answers, but like, baby, it's a romantasy. I know Violet. She's so powerful. She was touched by Dune or the gods or whatever in her hair. That's another thing I need to go back and I'm like, I need to really read more about that stuff because I kind of like was like reading. I was like, oh my gosh. But there's more to Violet's power. That's what I think. At the end of the day, this is kind of my last theory. There's more to Violet's power. I think she's more powerful than even we know. I think we're going to find more out about her second signet and her first signet. And I really think that she's going to be the main key to curing Xaden. And I don't know how, because like I said, I'm not Rebecca Yarros, but I just really think that at the end of the day, it's going to be simple. And I think that Xaden, even from the things he said, he always goes back to Violet. And it's just like everyone, like in the beginning, whenever they were like, y'all need to switch up your sleeping arrangements because Xaden's a vanning and y'all don't need to be messing around. And Violet's like, babe, I'm not doing that. And Xaden was like, yeah, I'm not doing that either. You want to try? Like they just... they're everything. They're two halves of the same whole. They really are. And it's beautiful and it's stunning and it's gorgeous. And yeah, I will be recovering from this book for a very long time until we get the next one, babe. And like, I'm trying to compare it to other series like Throne of Glass and ACOTAR and all my other fantasy series that I love. And when you're in the third book, when you're in the middle of a series, you have these questions. And so for the slander on this book, I don't want to hear it. I don't want to hear it. I don't want to talk about it. I mean, I do want to talk about it. I love having an open mind and taking everybody's opinions in and discussing. I think that's beautiful. I love when books can bring conversations into the book community because it's like, yeah, we need to be able to talk about this and it's beautiful. And that's one of the things I love about books is a sense of community. And if we all thought the same, it would be a very, very boring world. And I'm glad that we don't. And it's great to hear other opinions. But I really think, based on the other fantasy books I've read, I really think Miss Yarros, she's trying to gaslight us. She's trying to steer us away. And I think these are not plot holes in the book. I think she's building and building and building. And I think she's going to bring it all together. And just from what I've seen, a couple people hating on this, I'm like, you guys have to remember, the series is not finished. So she answered a lot of our questions in this book that we had in Iron Flame. And when I do my reread, I'm going to tab and I'm going to act a fool. I'm going to be like that crazy meme where the guy's like with all the charts behind him. Because yeah, it really gave us a lot of information and a lot of questions. And I really think that's very interesting. And as depressed as I was at the end of that vlog, if you guys saw me, now that I've had time to sit on it, I'm very excited to reread it and pick it apart and hunt for clues because it's very interesting. And I am the kind of reader where I'm a vibe reader at my core, but also I'm a know-it-all and I love answers and I love getting to the bottom of things. And that's why I love fantasy, because everything builds and everything comes together and we eventually get an answer. So yeah, I'm really excited and this is amazing. All right, you guys, that concludes this video. Thank you for listening to me ramble about my thoughts and kind of like my review of Onyx Storm. Like I said, this was my favorite out of the series and I cannot wait to see what Miss Yaros has for us. I know it's gonna be painful. I am listening to the playlist over and I can't wait to kind of continue to talk to you guys on my Instagram and my TikTok about this book. If you guys don't follow me, my TikTok is Lauren Alexis. I'll put all my socials in the description box so you can follow along and we can kind of discuss on other platforms. But I do love YouTube, that I can sit here and I can ramble and we can kind of have a long discussion about it because sometimes I have a lot to say, so it's very fun to talk about this. But anyway, I will link my socials below. I'm just so excited to continue to talk to you guys about this. I love this book. I was in physical pain for about a week. I'm still in physical pain, but now I'm kind of more excited to hunt for clues. So this is not the last video I'm gonna make about this book, and I can't wait to talk about it, about theories and questions and all the things in another video. But for now, thank you guys so much for watching, and I'll see you in my next video. Bye!